So the one part of the summer assignment that is really an actual unit kind of based on what we will do, which you can expect we will do in class, is this one, the Section 4 one-dimensional motion. And after you've done these general instructions review, you'll see that there are actually three smaller parts to this. I try to break it up into chunks. But the assignments themselves are all globbed together. So for example, in part 1, there are a set of videos I want you to watch. These are, for the most part, not mine. They are Khan Academy ones. And I outline I give you links to them, and I outline which ones that I want you to do. So for example, for the part 1, you're going to click here, and then you're going to watch the videos from AP, I would suggest that you watch AP Physics 1 Foundations, but for this specific assignment, you're going to do the ones that say, the section that says distance, displacement, and coordinate systems through velocity and speed from graphs. So when you click here and you go to one-dimensional motion in Khan Academy, there we go. So our buddy Sal over at Khan Academy has got an entire course, AP Physics 1. And in fact, I would highly suggest, they've introduced some interesting things like a pre-test and some practice along the way. I highly, highly recommend that you do what they have there. And the biggest reason being is that Sal Khan has a relationship with AP. He can't use this AP set of letters just because he wants to. He has to be approved by the folks at College Board, which means he has a little better feel as to what topics and what sorts of things are going to be on the test than maybe anybody else other than the people that are making it. Because if AP is letting him put stuff up to help the kids, then presumably they are communicating with each other. So for example, for that first part, I wanted you, after you've watched this AP Physics Foundations part and read the various things. So when I say watch, I also mean read the articles. But you're going to do all the videos for part 1 included in this section, distance, displacement, and coordinate systems, and you're going to do all these. So when I say through, I mean that section, this section, and velocity and speed from graphs, that section. That's what I mean when I say from distance, displacement, coordinate systems through velocity and speed from graphs. So there's actually 3 sections in there. Watch them. Now, when you watch them, I would encourage you to take some notes as you go along. I would not overtake the notes. We're not trying to copy everything that Sal Khan says. What I would recommend is, and you have this, I'm going to provide you with this one-dimensional motion notes and journal, and we'll use these throughout the year, and we'll give you a better feel for how I want you to use these as we go. What I want you to do is summarize. So I want you to watch a video for a couple minutes, pause it, and summarize what they just talked about. Not write down what they're writing down at that moment, but just sit back, listen. After it seems like they've covered a part of the video, stop, pause it, summarize. What did I just hear? Then describe what you just heard, describe what was important to that, if you got to go back a little bit. But you want to, that's fine, but you want to periodically summarize. That's going to lock it into your head. Just listening and then writing down what he writes down or writing down the things that he writes down on the screen is really meaningless if you're not able to summarize what he's talking about. So that's how I would use, at least one way in which I would use this little notes packet. So you might watch an entire video and be like, okay, this is the key ideas I got from it, or this, and this. And then you'll try some problems and you realize, oh, but I missed this and this, which is why I call this a journal, because after you've tried some problems or some multiple choice questions and gotten stuck and figured it out, either with my help or on your own, I want you to go back to this and jot down, oh yeah, and from doing this problem, I learned this. So this is a kind of a living document. I want you to organize it how it works best for you. So you can use this, the notes and journal, while you're watching the videos. Then, when you're done watching the videos for part 1, which include this one, which I'm going to make, I haven't made it yet, on relative velocity. So watch that video as well. I then give you which concept questions, number 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, and 12, and which problems, number 1 and number 7. So here's your concept questions. They look like, here we go, they look like this. So I tell you after watching those videos which of these concept questions you should be able to handle based on those concepts, and which problems you should be able to handle. So I think it was, if we look back, it was 1 and 7, correct, for the problems? So after watching part 1, you should be able to do number 1 right here. Notice, I give you the answers. Well, of course I give you the answers, because you're going to want to know if you do this right. And if you did it right, you'll be able to be like, I got it right. The answer shows I got it right. And if you don't, that's when you work harder to understand. You go back, watch some more videos, ask me for help, whatever. Work with a friend to kind of figure out where you went wrong. Not just get the answer, because the answer's right there anyway. I think in number 7 as well. So you go and you'll do number 7 at that point as well. And then, after you've done those, you'll go back and watch the next set of videos. And in part 2. And so on and so forth. So you won't be able to finish the problems and the concept questions until you've gone through all 3 of these folders. Taking notes, trying some, taking notes, trying some, back and forth. At that point, I would suggest you go ahead and do the multiple choice questions. Now the multiple choice questions, they're old AP Physics multiple choice questions. They're not quite AP Physics 1, they're from a course called AP Physics B. From a few years ago, since they switched this course, but they're pretty good. So I've selected some of those here. You'll see them, and in fact, let's zoom in a little bit. In fact, here, let's pull them up on the computer screen if we can. So they should be here. There they are. So notice there's a number 1, number 2, 3, and so on and so forth, fairly straightforward. And they have answers possible answers A through D for each of them, usually. And then when you go to Schoology, this quiz all the question will be is, hey, number 1, and then you'll go in, you'll answer it, you'll give an answer. Hey, what do you think the answer is? You will get 2 shots at this quiz. So if you go back and you look at it, and I got this one wrong, this one, then this one wrong, then I know I've eliminated one of the answers. Go back, think about it. And then you'll be able to get a second shot at it. So your quote grade, your performance on this will be based on the better of the 2. Presumably the second one would be better. This is your chance to give yourself some feedback as to whether or not you know these. This isn't for a grade. So if there are, I believe, 16 questions on this multiple choice. So if you're done 2 shots at it and you only got 5 right or 6 right, that's a red flag that you need to get with me after school and work on these a little bit and figure out what the gap in your knowledge is. If you get a 5 or 6 right, but you're like, well, everyone's not grading it, so I'm good, and you go on and you watch TV instead or play video games or whatever else, you're going to not be successful in this course. You're selling yourself short. Will there be plenty of times where you don't do well on these, even with 2 shots? Yes. You should want to dig in, and the students that are successful refuse to get a question wrong and be okay with it. You have to learn to get a question wrong and not be okay with it. Even if you go back later and revisit these same questions in 3 weeks, just to see if you've got a better feel for it. Those are the sorts of things that students do that are successful. Students that aren't successful, it's remarkable. They'll actually ask somebody what the answer is for what they got for number 1. Say, oh, is that the right answer? Put it in and really think that they've done themselves any good. They've done themselves no good. I'm not grading it anyway. It's just there to give you feedback. Well, if it's all right and you're really convincing yourself that you understand this when you know darn well you don't, you're just playing yourself. So use your brain on that one. The multiple choice is there to give you an idea of where you are in the grand scheme of things, and don't be upset or embarrassed if you're not doing real well. And nobody does great the first time they do this, so please keep that in mind. Ultimately, the people that are successful aren't the people that get it the first time. They're the people that ask for help, come in after school, use their class time wisely, asking, working with others to figure things out, redoing videos, finding other resources, that kind of thing. Of course, copies of all the handouts are here. I think that's everything we need for this one. So good luck, and you're either going to submit this stuff. Well, the quizzes you're going to have to do on Schoology. And the concept questions, I should point that out. The concept questions, you're going to actually type your answers in. So I don't know if I can see this as one of you, but they're a short answer essay type question. And what I want you to do, and in fact, I think I can show you right here, is for the concept questions, I don't have one right here, so I have to locate it. Here, this is what I want. I can find it. I got this. I'm going to pause this so that you don't have to listen to me look for it. When it comes to the concept questions, you're going to have this packet, and in this case, for example, they're oftentimes going to want you to rank certain things. So I'll give you straight up. The answer to this one is that C and D have the largest displacement over the first 3 seconds. They're tied. So notice I write them together. If I was writing them here, I would write C and D together in this block. And second place, with the next largest displacement, is A. It would go here by itself. And in third place would be B by itself. So when you answer these in Schoology, I want you to first give me your answer. Boom. All right, so I think C and D are tied for first, then A, then B. And by the way, C and D are the first. Let's see, in the first 3 seconds, it's really just which one went the farthest. So this one went 1. So this is after 1 second from here to here. This is 2 seconds, and this is the end of the 3rd second. So this one went 9. And let's see, this one also went 9 because it started at 1 and went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It didn't go 10 because it happened to be in a different location when time started. It had to be at 1. So that's why they're tied. And so you would write down those two are the tied for the most, and then A is the next because it went 1, 2, 3 seconds. It went 6, and B just went 1, 2, 3 seconds. It only went 2. And I describe why I chose my answers. Now, I might be a little wordy, but you want a decent description because a big part of the new AP exam is this writing piece right here. So then you give in Schoology, this is your first line, you hit return, and then you type in your explanation. So it's set up as an essay question. So when I grade this thing, let me go find it. So when I go to look at this, wrong course, here's our summer course. When I go to look at grade this thing, your answers to these various questions, these concept questions, are going to be in that form. Right, so keep that in mind. You're going to type in your answers. I would highly recommend that you jot them down first in the packet and then transfer them over when it's time. All right, that's everything then. All right, good luck, folks.